Welcome to Free Flying into the BHPA's Elementary Pilot Training Guide, designed to help new pilots under training to progress to their first milestone, the Elementary Pilot Award. The training guide is issued free to all pilots under training. It is also available as a free download from the BHPA website at New Pilots. In this publication, you'll find articles dealing with the aspects of our sport that you will need to know about as you begin your flying career. The basic information that you need to enjoy our sport safely is here, along with features that will give you a taste of what's possible as you progress. We also include some background information on what the BHPA is about, how it is structured, and how we can help you. As a BHPA member, you'll soon be receiving monthly issues of Skywings magazine. Meanwhile, we hope that you will find information in this guide to keep you absorbed and interested as your experience increases and your horizons widen, and continually challenged by this most rewarding of all sports. A bit of background: the British Hang Gliding and Paragliding Association is the UK's governing body for the sports of hang gliding and paragliding. It is not a government agency but an association set up by hang glider and paraglider pilots to represent and protect their mutual interests. It is managed, with the help of a small number of paid staff, by volunteers who give their time and expertise freely to further the aims of the association. Since the early 1970s, the BHPA and its predecessors, the British Hang Gliding Association and the British Association of Paragliding Clubs, have worked hard to build a reputation as a well-run and respected sports governing body, and it has for many years been recognized and respected by the Civil Aviation Authority, the Royal Aero Club, and the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale. Assisted by highly qualified professional staff, the BHPA runs a pilot rating scheme, airworthiness schemes for the aircraft we fly, a school registration scheme, an instructor assessment and rating scheme, a pilot development structure, and training courses for instructors and coaches. Within your membership fee is also provided third-party insurance and, for full annual, a 3-month trial members, a subscription to the highly regarded monthly Skywings magazine. The Elementary Pilot Training Guide exists to answer all those basic questions you have, such as, is it difficult to learn to fly? And, will it take me long to learn? In answer to those two questions, I should say that it is no more difficult to learn to fly than to learn to drive a car, probably somewhat easier. We were all beginners once and are well aware that the main requirement, if you want much more than a taster, is commitment. Keep at it and you will succeed. In answer to the second question, I can only say that in spite of our best efforts, we still cannot control the weather, and that, no matter how long you continue to fly for, you will never stop learning. You are about to enter a world where you will regularly enjoy sights and experiences which only a privileged few ever witness. If, like me, you become addicted, it may take over your whole life, but even if you only experience a taste of our activities, I hope it makes a lasting impression on you. One thing you will quickly notice about this sport is how ready the top pilots are to talk to, and help, the less experienced pilots they meet. Take advantage of this legendary openness. Don't be afraid to ask the pilots you meet along the way how they do it. They'll be only too glad to offer you a helping hand. But right now, train hard, stay committed, listen to your instructor and take his or her advice, and have fun. Welcome to the best sport in the world. Once you have tasted free flight, you will never look back. This sport should perhaps carry a health warning: hang gliding and paragliding can seriously alter your life. Note that the material in this guide is aimed at beginner pilots only. Those wishing to progress beyond that level are strongly advised to purchase the modestly priced BHPA Pilot Handbook from the BHPA office. PHOTO, RUSALWINTARS. Welcome. Joe Schofield, Editor. PHOTO, KATHWALACA. PHOTO, COL in FARGHAR. 2. Welcome to Free Flying. 4. Starting out. General information for the new pilot under training. 7. Passing your exams. Progressing through the pilot rating scheme. 8. Pre-flight. Paraglider checks and inspection. 9. Pre-flight. Hang glider checks and inspection. 10. Theory of flight. How a glider flies. 12. Aerial collision avoidance regulations. 13. Airworthiness. What's safe for you, what's not, and why. 14. Flying in moving air. The dynamics of the air we fly in, and how it affects us as pilots of hang gliders and paragliders. 15. Whether to fly. A few simple rules of meteorology. 16. Basic hang glider control. Movements. 17. Basic paraglider control. Movements. 18. Techniques for hard landings. 19-foot launched powered aircraft. A brief introduction to paramotoring and powered hang gliding. 20 general info for the aspiring pilot. 21 buying the right glider and equipment. 22 10 thoughts for 10 hours. Wise words for new club flyers. 23 the rules of the BHPA. Do's and don'ts to keep you safe and insured. The editor, Joe Schofield. Email skywings@bhpa.co.uk. Illustration, design and production, Colin Faga. Email colin@skywingsmag.com. Webmaster, Paul Dancy. Email paul-dancy@bhpa.co.uk. Published by the British Hang Gliding and Paragliding Association's Flying and Safety Committee. The British Hang Gliding and Paragliding Association, 8 Melrose Court, Meridian Business Park, Leicester LE 191RJ, telephone 0116-289-4316, email office@bhpa.co.uk. While the high flights were more spectacular, the low ones were fully as valuable for training purposes. Skill comes by the constant repetition of familiar feats rather than by a few overbold attempts at feats for which the performer is yet poorly prepared. Wilbur Wright, 1902. We have not felt that a few hours of practice is sufficient to justify ambitious attempts too hastily. Before trying to rise to any dangerous height, a man ought to know that in an emergency his mind and muscles will work by instinct rather than by conscious effort. There is no time to think. Starting to fly. Although the standard which you will be expected to reach will be the same in every school, the actual training program and methods may vary. This is because they are determined by the craft, hang glider or paraglider, the type of launch method, hill or tow, the site, and the weather on the day. Once you have mastered controlling the glider on the ground handling, which is not as easy as it looks, you will be taught to take off and land correctly. Your first flights will be in a straight line only a few feet above the ground. If you are learning on a hang glider, these flights will often be tethered, with the instructor able to control the glider through his tether rope. When you show that you can safely and confidently get yourself into the air and down again, the instructor will start to progress you by towing you higher or moving to takeoff points higher up the hill. With this extra height, you will be able to learn how to turn. A few days of practice should see you well on the way to completing the tasks for your elementary pilot award. If tow training, you'll be releasing from the line and flying a couple of turns to land. You'll also be introduced to a limited amount of flying theory, usually fitted in around your practical flying instruction, and you'll complete a very simple exam paper on the topics covered. Achieving the Elementary Pilot Award is the first step on the ladder of the BHPA pilot rating scheme outlined below. The Pilot Rating Scheme, PRS. The BHPA pilot rating scheme has been devised to encourage pilots to progress their personal flying skills and to provide a quick and simple means of indicating their proficiency level to others. There is one progress award for you to complete, and then 3 ratings proper. Elementary Pilot Award, APE, awarded by your school during your training to mark the successful completion of the introductory stage, and to indicate your suitability to undertake the further school training required to gain your first rating. Club Pilot, Novice, marks the end of your formal instruction and qualifies you to leave the school and fly within BHPA member clubs. Still a relative novice, as you continue to perfect your skills, you should seek advice and guidance from coaches while you work towards your pilot rating. Pilot P, now you can consider yourself a fully qualified pilot in the true sense of the word. You will possess well-rounded skills and abilities, along with enough experience to know how and when to exercise them. You should hold this rating before embarking on cross-country flights. Advanced Pilot, AP, a rating for the above-average pilot who is a total master of his or her craft and enjoying to the full the challenges the sport can offer. Your instructor will sign off your AP and CP tasks as your training progresses and will explain how club coaches will carry on this function once you have gained Club Pilot, Novice, and left the school. Changing disciplines and craft. Because of the wide diversity of aircraft types and launch methods used within the BHPA, from tow-launched round canopies to hill-launched, rigid wing hang gliders, your ratings, shown on your BHPA membership card, will be specific to the craft category. The launch method you are trained and qualified to use will be noted, e.g. paragliding pilot, rated, hill environment. Changing environment. If you wish to add an alternative form of launch, a new environment, to your rating, this is done by completing a short course. A hill environment course for tow-trained pilots will typically involve a weekend or so with an instructor in a school environment. A tow environment course for hill-trained pilots can be undertaken at a tow school or within a tow club. Conversions to and from the power environment are more complex and require additional training. Changing glider type. If you wish to qualify with a different craft type, e.g. swap from paragliders to hang gliders, then you will need to start from the beginning again, although your instructor will obviously take your experience into account during your training. The BHPA coaching scheme. If you decide to take up hang gliding or paragliding seriously, you'll find the BHPA Pilot Development Structure, PDS, essential to your ongoing progress within a club. Every club has a number of voluntary club coaches who have attended a 2-day BHPA training course. The PDS provides guidance, background reading, videos and useful targets to aim for under the supervision of a club coach. BHPA coaching and the PDS are voluntary initiatives. They are an effective part of the club environment and help a new pilot make friends and acquaintances within the club. In time you may even become a successful coach yourself and be able to help other new pilots, but you'll be able to learn more about that later. Joining a club. It is important that all newcomers to the sport join a club as soon as possible, even before gaining the Club Pilot Novice award. You can get to know your fellow pilots and get advice on the right gear to buy and good places to fly. Every year around 7,000 UK hang glider and paraglider pilots fly scores of hours each without incident or injury. They achieve this because of the club-based structure of our sport. Instructors, coaches and friendly pilots help novices through those first few hours of soaring when ignorance and a lack of experience could expose them to danger. Pilots fresh from school attach a red streamer to their gliders for their first 10 hours or so to signal their novice status. More experienced club pilots will give them more room in the air, keep an eye on their progress and offer advice and help when appropriate. Clubs in the UK mostly operate to protect the use of hill and airfield sites for their members. Your local club plays an important role in looking after the interests of both flyers and site owners. Clubs negotiate the use of sites and liaise with local authorities, councils and other air users. Most produce a regular newsletter and hold social and informative meetings, and many organize flying trips to overseas sites. A club can also advise you on how best to continue your training beyond the level detailed in this document. You may be unsure which type of flying you'd like to pursue, or need more information on what it's all about. We recommend that you seek such advice before making a commitment to further training. When you have learned how to fly your hang glider or paraglider, please don't go off and try to fly it wherever you choose. If you do, you'll find that the local club which controls the site, almost every single hill and airfield flying site in the country is controlled by a club, will not be impressed. Every now and then a pilot who perhaps feels that clubs are not their style will try to go it alone. After all, our sport appeals to free-thinking individuals. Unfortunately for us all, the pilots who try to go it alone most often end up hurt, because they lack the backup and the common sense approach which a club brings. A club offers a welcome to the wider world of hang gliding and paragliding. It will normally offer a social side, from a drink after a day's flying to structured meetings with guest speakers. It will also offer coaching to support you when you have left your training school, and will introduce you to a range of pilots who can help you pursue your flying goals, be they fun trips abroad or starting to fly in competitions. Your school should be able to inform you about local clubs in your area. A list of BHPA clubs can be viewed on the BHPA website at. Contact numbers of most clubs are also carried each month in Skywings magazine. Ground handling instruction. Hang glider tow training. Starting out general information for the new pilot under training. PHOTO, CLOUD 9. PHOTO, COLE NMCGINN. Skywings your magazine. If you have begun training with a BHPA school, you will shortly receive your first regular copy of Skywings, the BHPA's monthly magazine. Skywings is the association's main route of communication to its pilots. More importantly, it is the forum for pilots talking to other pilots. The magazine is put together entirely from voluntary contributions from BHPA members. Amongst the ranks of Britain's free flyers are some very talented contributors of technical articles, photography, flying reports and much, much more. As a result, the magazine's quality of content and presentation are much better than a relatively small sports association has any right to expect. Skywings is also available online. Skywings is always on the lookout for your contributions. If you feel you would like to send in an article, the following points should be borne in mind. Few articles are published without photographs. Digital camera images are usually good enough for publication. Check with us first. We can always use good quality photographs even if unaccompanied by an article. High quality shots of hang gliding are particularly sought. The length of an article is normally between 1000 to 2500 words. Articles are often edited to length, but not by just hacking large bits off. When you become more knowledgeable, or if you have expertise that you are bringing to the sport, technical articles are always welcome. If you think you may be able to help here, ring up and discuss what you have in mind. Much of our input arrives by email or on disk. We can accept most formats. If you don't have access to a computer, just write clearly and legibly on old-fashioned paper. Not everything that is received is included in the magazine. Often good articles are held over, if they aren't urgent, to make room for up-to-date reports, particularly in the summer months. Incoming material, except letters, is always acknowledged, so you'll know what we are doing with your masterpiece. BHPA membership. The association offers various membership categories: trial membership, annual membership, family membership, and concessions for under 21s and over 67s. Non-flying membership and a simple subscription to Skywings magazine are also available. The association aims, through careful management of resources, to keep membership fees as low as possible while providing the best possible service. As well as Skywings and all the services and support the BHPA provides, your membership includes third-party liability up to a value of £5 million. The BHPA itself is the result of the successful amalgamation, in 1992, of the British Hang Gliding Association and the British Association of Paragliding Clubs. It is the recognized governing body for UK hang gliding and paragliding and represents the sport when dealing with national and international bodies. It aims to encourage the development of the sport and to promote high standards of safety through pilot and instructor training. Your trial membership. Trial membership is valid for 3 months from the date of issue, extended to the end of the month of expiry. As a trial member, you will receive, by post, the next 3 issues of Skywings magazine. Your magazines should normally begin to arrive within 28 days of taking out membership. Contact the BHPA office on 0116 289 4316, email, sales@bhpa.co.uk in case of non-delivery. If you decide to continue with further training beyond the elementary pilot stage, you'll be invited to upgrade your membership to full annual member status when your training membership has run its course. You need to hold full annual membership to be issued with a Club Pilot Novice rating. The BHPA Insurance Scheme. We hope that new members of our sport will become regular, proficient flyers and have years of accident-free flying. However, on occasions things can go wrong, and you may find yourself sitting on the roof of a house or dangling from a tree. It is for these rare occasions that we provide within your membership third-party public liability insurance. The list below sets out some key points. If you have any questions, please see the policy summary which you will receive upon joining, or contact the association's insurance officer, via our office in Leicester. 1. Cover is provided only when you comply with the BHPA's rules and procedures, see page 23. 2. Cover is only effective whilst your membership is valid. No membership equals no cover. 3. In the event of an accident, whilst you can reassure any third party that you are a member of the BHPA and that cover exists, you must never admit liability or make or offer any payment. Should you do so, you may become personally liable. 4. Any incident or accident considered likely to give rise to a claim, or any actual claim made against you must be reported to the BHPA within 48 hours. 5. The policy does not cover any losses caused by deliberate or reckless acts on your part. The purpose of this insurance is to meet the costs and any damages associated with claims made against you by an injured person or the owner of damaged property. However, please note that you will have to pay in excess of the first £250 in the event of any property claim against you. The cover is effected through a block policy held by the BHPA, and membership adds your name to it. It should be stressed that the BHPA's membership insurance does not cover you for your own personal injury or medical evacuation, and we encourage any pilots wishing to fly abroad to take out their own personal accident cover independently. For example, Air Sports Insurance Bureau can offer competitive rates on insurance for flying abroad, and also policies for other flying needs such as equipment cover and holiday insurance. The above information about BHPA insurance is intended as a guide only and is not a statement of the policy terms. For further details, please see the policy summary or contact the BHPA's insurance officer. Flyability. Many people think that flying hang gliders and paragliders is impossible for people with disabilities. Nothing could be further from the truth. Flyability is the BHPA's disability initiative. It promotes hang gliding and paragliding opportunities, including dual flights and training scholarships for people with disabilities, and strives to bring disability awareness and education to the whole of the BHPA membership. It also has the contacts, expertise, and enthusiasm to solve any problems that may be presented when training disabled pilots alongside able-bodied ones. Flyability's original coordinator learned to fly hang gliders despite difficulties caused by his own disability, athetosis cerebral palsy. Within the BHPA, there are a number of pilots with more or less severe disabilities. Through their own determination and the support and enthusiasm of school proprietors, instructors, fellow students, and friends, they have addressed their individual, specific problems in adapting to flying and have become respected and valued members of the free flying community. Since the advent of flyability, many people have become aware of the problems those with disabilities face when participating in flying. Sometimes the problems faced are immense, at other times less so. In each case, the difficulties involved in helping people with disabilities to discover the freedom of the air have been overcome by ingenuity, trial and error, patience and effort. Determination to succeed, and the goal of sharing the dream of flight, will always win out. To a BHPA instructor, the best indications of a student's potential as a pilot are motivation, attitude and dedication. They probably won't even mention physical ability or agility at all. The message from the free flying community to anyone with disabilities is, you can fly. Alongside the work of actually training people with disabilities to fly, Flyability runs disability awareness weekends and provides disability awareness input to BHPA courses. It has also assisted clubs and schools in getting funding from local businesses and charities to buy suitable equipment such as tandem gliders. Flyability also promotes and funds tandem flying for people with disabilities who may be unable to fly alone. Tandem air experience flights and solo student pilot scholarships, over 55 have been awarded in the last few years. See below, are the main use of its charitable funds. If you, or someone you know, could benefit from Flyability's work, talk to your school's Flyability contact, write to co-Flyability by email. contact@flyability.org.uk, or visit Flyability's website at. Impossible is not a word that Flyability folk understand. If you really want to, you can fly. Flyability Pilot Scholarship Scheme. Flyability recognizes that people with disabilities often have lower incomes and higher living costs compared to the rest of society. With this in mind, Flyability can contribute a substantial sum towards a would-be pilot's ab initio training costs, and later towards club pilot training. Where possible, a student with disabilities will train at a BHPA registered school alongside able-bodied student pilots. To apply for a pilot scholarship, contact the BHPA school of your choice and complete the first part of the application form, available at closing parenthesis dot. With this completed, contact Flyability and tell them why you simply must fly. Entries, in addition to the form, can be on paper, audio, videotape, etc. These scholarships are open to UK residents only. Hang gliding and paragliding are available to many people with disabilities through the BHPA's Flyability initiative. Skywings Your Magazine, continued. The production process runs a long way ahead of publication. When you are reading the latest magazine, we will probably be working on the ones 2 and 3 months ahead. Just remember that the deadline is usually around 5 weeks before publication. Letters for publication for the airmail page are held to the last possible moment, usually about the 15th of the preceding month, to enable responses to the previous month's magazine to arrive. It's best to keep letters as short and succinct as possible. Articles, competition reports, stories, travel writing, new ideas, problems, cross-country reports, etc., are all welcome, as is just about anything else. Also, we are happy to run details in the news pages of anything which is going on which you may like brought to a wider audience. So think about contributing, and remember, it's your magazine. And if you want to continue to receive Skywings but don't want to continue with more advanced training just yet, a 12-month subscription costs £50, contact the BHPA office. The magazine is not available on the newsstands or in shops. Joe Schofield, Editor, Skywings Magazine. PHOTO, GO Road IAOLI vs AR. Starting out information for the new pilot under training. Exams are a necessary part of the pilot rating scheme. They encourage you to take that little bit of extra time to learn something more about the sport. More importantly, they are also there to ensure your safety and the safety of others about you when you are flying. Like any other task of the pilot rating scheme, exams require some preparation work. This article explains which areas to sort up on and the level of understanding required. It also points out sources of information. Exams for hang gliding and paragliding are different, but much of the material is identical except for the aspects of flight theory that are specific to your chosen discipline. Below are the exam requirements for the BHPA Elementary Pilot and Club Pilot, Novice, ratings. You will learn about the requirements for more advanced ratings as you progress. The Elementary Pilot Exam. The first rung on the ladder. You will take this exam and fly the relevant tasks whilst at the school. The information required will be readily available from your instructors and from this handbook. The exam is in multiple choice format and includes questions on the rules of the air which you must answer correctly to succeed. The rules of the air and collision avoidance. You should know what actions are taken by which pilot and what priorities prevail to prevent the danger of collision between two aircraft when approaching each other, when on converging courses, or when wishing to overtake or land. See page 12. Flight theory. You should be able to define the terms lift, drag, and angle of attack, understand the relationship between pressure and airflow above and beneath the canopy or wing, understand what causes it to stall and what happens to the above forces when control inputs are applied. See pages 10, 11, 16 and 17. Meteorology. You need to understand wind gradient and its effects, how ground obstacles can affect local airflow, and what to look for when assessing takeoff, flying and landing areas. You'll also need an understanding of the basic principles of wind and airflow over hills, how turbulence is produced and its hazards to a pilot. See page 14. Airmanship. You must understand the relationship between airspeed, wind speed and the resultant ground speed and be able to work given examples. You should also know your responsibilities to other air users. Pilots are also required to know the law regarding CAA permission for tow-launched operations and its limitations. The Club Pilot, Novice, Exam. This exam must be passed along with a specific environment exam appropriate to the environment you are training in. See the environment exams below. The Club Pilot exam is more demanding than the APE exam, although the areas covered are much the same. The pass mark is 70%, and again there are questions on the rules of the air which must be correctly answered to pass. Your instructors, school lectures, the BHPA Pilot Handbook and this publication will provide the information that you need. Air law. You should be able to recite the collision avoidance rules. Failure on these questions results in automatic failure of the whole exam. Know the low flying rules. Understand the way airspace in the UK is categorized. Understand your duty regarding incident reporting. Understand your duty regarding CANP. See page 12. Meteorology. You should be able to link basic cloud types and their associated weather. Have a basic understanding of a synoptic weather chart. Understand the basics of hill, wave and thermal lift. Know how to obtain a forecast and how to measure the wind on site. Identify deteriorating conditions. Principles of flight. You should understand standard terms stall, lift, center of pressure, angle of attack, drag, aspect ratio, LD ratio, glide angle, wing loading, max, glide and min, sink. Have a basic understanding of how lift is created. Be able to work examples of airspeed, wind speed, ground speed. Understand factors affecting canopy stability. Paraglider pilots only. Understand the way various features of hang glider design play a role in ensuring adequate stability. Hang glider pilots only. Airmanship. You should be able to understand the need to keep a logbook. Understand the purpose of the red streamer. Be familiar with the demands of flying in company with your fellow pilots, both on the ridge and when demalling. Recite the pre-flight check. Understand how a hang glider or paraglider is able to gain height. Name the symptoms of an impending stall. In addition, paraglider pilots should know the correct procedure for dealing with asymmetric canopy tucks. The environment exams. Along with the Club Pilot exam, you also must pass the specific environment exam appropriate to the environment you are training in: hill, tow, power, aerotow. Later on in your flying career, you may wish to add other environments. Each time you do this, as well as learning the new practical skills, you will also need to gain a theoretical understanding of the new environment, and will need to pass an environment exam to prove this learning. The environment exams are again multiple choice format with a 70% pass mark. You should have a basic understanding of hill, wind gradient, ridge etiquette, rotor, overcrowding, top landing, wave. Tow. CAA permits, lockouts, weak links, signals, emergency actions, site safety, release attachment. Power. Forces. How a climb is achieved. Carb icing, site selection, effects of altitude and temperature, engine basics, legalities of SPHGs, flight planning. Aerotow, turn direction after release, positioning, lockouts, weak links, signals, emergency actions, site safety. Passing your exams. Progress through the pilot rating scheme. Useful books. Much of the available literature takes the reader to a far higher level of understanding than is required at APE level and is focused on specific subjects such as meteorology. Below is a list of titles that are aimed at the beginner pilot, although all include more advanced material too. Books aimed directly at the more advanced pilot or at specific subjects such as meteorology are not included here but can be obtained from the BHPA shop and from most hang gliding and paragliding dealers. BHPA Pilot Handbook. Markdale, BHPA, 2020. £14.99. The best available book on all aspects of flying. Very useful for novices, essential for CP trainees. Touching Cloud Base. Ian Kerr and Rob Cruikshank, Air Supplies Publishing, 2015. £25. Complete primer for paraglider pilots. Paragliding, The Beginner's Guide. Bastian Wenzel and Ed Ewing, XC Mag, 2020. £23.95. Training Manual for Paraglider Pilots Worldwide. Paramotoring The Essential Guide, XC Mag, 2015, £24.99. Useful background reader and reference book for paramotoring. Prepare to Fly Simon Blake, 2020. £16.66. Essential reading for all who seek to improve their basic flying. All titles, and many other useful books and manuals, are stocked by the BHPA shop, and most free flying dealers.